But what he did is he actually created the framework within which all economic elements can be connected. In a world where there were dozens of different schools for each different little phenomenon of economy.
Right.
Okay, again, you're just pivoting to other random things.
That's just objectively valuable information that anybody can use.
Back to my question that science cannot be used to disprove God, but science could be used to prove that God exists. If there's any kind of an observable phenomenon where the laws of the natural order are suspended for a minute, or for whatever, if the laws of nature are suspended in your favor or against your favor for a minute, for a second, and it's something that's tangible and observable, we would have caught something like that on tape or on video by now, but we haven't. So how do you explain that?
Doing science is the explanation itself.
What do you mean?
So how come
the
doing
ability
science is the explanation itself? So how? Okay,
the ability to observe anything.
You're putting I think a higher onus of responsibility on yourself than I am right now. I'm going low. I'm not asking for that.
Oh
much.
no,
I'm just asking for this.
No,
much.
I'm glad it's right here. This is right where I want to be. This is exactly
on topic, or
this is absolutely
okay.
All right. In order for anything to operate on a predictable basis means that there has to be pre-existing information that guides how it works, right? And if any of those rules are objectively static, the rules themselves had to have come from somewhere. That kind of information doesn't self-generate.
So it comes from a bearded man in the sky.
No, that's your childish. That's your misrepresentation of people with faith. I like to. This is my best attempt, I think, as far as conceptual metaphor for trying to explain what God is. I think that the material universe that we exist in, whether it is an enclosed globe and we're being deceived by people with telescopes and stuff, or it's this apparently infinitely acceleratingly expanding universe with the billions of trillions of quadrillions of all of these things. It doesn't matter which one it is. If there's anything about that that's predictable and it's an actual rule that we cannot overcome, that rule has to have been set. And it's this universe. It's like it's a dampening or a restriction on all aspects of the infinite. It just the infinite number of things and their infinite magnitudes all at once is more than we could ever comprehend. And that's, at least in a magnitude way, that's how you would describe God. And the fact that we exist here, this is how it's actually defined. We can't really know because we're observing it and trying to explain it. But the restriction on all of those infinites to whatever magnitude it is that they're limited here is the only reason we can be here. That has to have been done by something. And then you can just go back to St. Thomas Aquinas and the uncaused cause, and that's just the logical chain from cause and effect. That's all he used to make that assertion. I think the two go pretty well together. I don't know.
Okay, so you could use that argument to say that there should be some higher power, right? Am I understanding that correctly? There has to be
I have faith in God.
Yep.
There has to be someone.
I go to the Jesus Christ level. I will tell everybody, take a look at the Gospels and look at what he actually told people and determine whether or not the costume-wearing ritualists are carrying out his word or if there's something better in there that's basically being hidden from you.
Okay.
Because I think what's actually in there can inspire faith in anybody. Basically, all of the claims about all of the groupthink and everything, they're all costumed with things that he said.
Okay. So you're saying that there's this infinite space, blah, blah, blah.
No, not space.
Dude, I let you go off for like 5 whole minutes.
Come on. No, it's just infinite infinites. No, just infinite infinites. The space, what we look at as space, that concept of volume or what that comes out of the restrictions. We're so incapable of comprehending how this comes to be.
Okay, so just let Chad respond, dude. He lets you go on his rant, dude. This is why people don't want to come over and talk with you, because you don't let anyone talk. Like, I'm sorry, told you about this before.
It's all good.
Like, I love you.
Patient.
You know I love you, but like, and I know, like, you get passionate about this shit.
But
and
look at what happens. But look at what happens. I call it the infinite infinites, and then we start to associate the concept of space to it, and now it's Thor bouncing around in the mountains. It's like, no, it's just what it is. It's just the general, just the accepted.
I don't know how you can jump to that conclusion when I haven't even had a chance to respond yet.
No, it's because
Phil, if you want to be understood, you got to make a little bit of an effort to understand other people also, and to listen a little bit.
Oh, I do, and that's exactly why I jump in like that, because I understand that people generally start making incorrect associations with what I've said when they're answering me, and I can't.
You could try harder to communicate more effectively.
Or maybe you could let them say more than like a sentence before you're like, oh no, that's what I said.
Okay,
it's true.
Okay, there you go. Just sit back for a minute. Pour yourself another glass of champagne. We have the other bottle in there.
So I want to follow up with what you said. I want to follow up with what you said in a little bit of a different tone.
Dude, you already just did it.
It's just your style.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's the content.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to get at.
So I'm going to respond in a bit of a different way that you just said your piece. I'm not going to go on a 5-minute rant. I want to have a back and forth, okay?
No, I got
Let's try to keep responses.
I know you do.
Let's try to keep responses to one sentence.
We can pull out the talking stick.
I don't want to wreck it.
Okay. So let's have a good back and forth here. Okay. So you're saying that the space is impressive, right? Just let's just talk about space as a what people generally understand space to be. It's super, super infinite, right? Or that's how we understand it. And you kind of liken that to also how we think about God, right? God is super, super infinite. There's no way we can comprehend so big, so immense. Are those two things comparable?
Yeah. Can I make one distinction?
In a mind-blowing sort of way of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I make one distinction?
Yes.
What we're now being fed by certain scientific-minded people is that in the case of the reality metaphor of the infinite universe and space, is that they're telling us that they're using tools to look at it, that they're going to be able to explain everything. That's how they look at it. They're like, do you see what you know what I mean? Like when they make these ridiculous technological predictions about what they're going to be able to do, and
we're all going to fly in cars and stuff.
And that's where I don't. That's where I don't like the comparison.
It's using technology to try to predict shit that's just unpredictable.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, maybe I'm so deep in this that I can't even. Maybe I'm not even capable of like explaining. Maybe it's just feelings. I don't know.
Well, I think.
Okay.
Well,
so
hold on.
What I'm getting at here.
Yeah, I'll let Chad go.
I'm gonna jump to the crux of what I'm getting at here. So if you want to argue that space is so immense and so so crazy, and the laws of nature have finite rules to them. I think that's the point you're making, is that someone had to set up those rules. One sentence response.
Yeah, no, it's the information comes from minds.
Good.
And pre-existing information has to come from a mind.
Okay.
Right?
That's true. We can all agree. I think Chad agrees with that. All information comes from a mind.
I disagree with that.
Really?
No. Okay, so this is
I agree
saying
with that statement, actually.
Sure, okay. Yeah. So this is saying that the universe, look at it from my perspective for a second. Okay, the universe, we think it had a beginning at the Big Bang, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least the universe that we understand, that we have studied, that we comprehend, had a beginning at the Big Bang. Who knows what happened before that, though, right?